Speaking of the stun prize, 20 bucks. So that's a little more helpful. That'll give us money for bombs, if nothing else. If that, there we go. Okay, so there's our tier 2, which is small magic. That could be useful at some point, but right now it's not super helpful. We're going to see what the bush crab is. Arrows. Okay, so that's on a list of things not super helpful. Houston Baba has jumped into the well hoping for some bombs, and hey, look what we found. We got some bombs, so we're okay.
Sometimes the well delivers.
Not when I go down there, it seems like, but, you know, these guys aren't me, so they'll take what they can get.
And there's our first sword.
Yeah, it's a good place to find a bomb, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
All right, so at 2.5 minutes, the swordless run is over. Thankfully or not thankfully, depending on the type of viewer you are, we're not going to have any swordless bosses.
And we got enough for the bobble vendor now.
Yeah, that's what Ninjembro has been definitely stocking up on that. And since Ninjembro is bombless, I think he's going to head down and grab bombs off of the shop here in just a moment.
And we found out it's just a heart piece there in the bar.
And 20 bucks in the chicken hut. We do have a cape, though, so that's another thing that's going to be along the way here. Yeah, Houston Baba are going to be skipping the bottle vendor for now. Hopefully we'll get enough money in Blind's Hut to be able to actually check that. Alright, so the left side of Blind's Hut was a bit half-hearted, and nothing out of the right side either. Let's see if the back has anything for us.
Just some cash.
And with money short of bottle vendor, Houston Baba is going to go ahead and make a note of that and S&Q. We should see on Ninjembro's side if there's anything there coming up in just a moment. So we'll see if that was a an oops or not. Oh, never mind. That's where the cape was. So that was already grabbed. Disregard. Alright, so Houston Baba's got some bombs, and now I imagine we're going to get a South Shore set of checks here. Going to need those bombs to open up the mini Moldorm Cave. But yeah, Kakariko not really having anything in the way of progression for us. We've got the armor upgrade from the uncle, the sword and the cape, which are nice. And if I come across a lamp, I might be calling the sword and the cape a little less nice, if I'm being 100% honest. But nothing that really points us anywhere yet.
It does make you wonder if Bumper Cave's going to have something good today.
Oof, Mini Moldorm Cave being, well, Mini Moldorm Cave. Houston Baba takes a death there. That's one of the worst things, especially early on, because those suckers do a heart, and then falling into a hole does a heart, and you only have 4 to start with right now. So if you are not completely filled up by the time you walk in there, you might have to make the walk again. Oh,
Oh,
hello.
we got the bow.
And that's a check that Houston Baba has skipped thus far. I imagine he is looking for combining that in with an Agana cave, maybe.
I've been seeing a lot of runners skip Agina's cave for quite a while.
Yeah, that's usually the play, but if you really don't like doing that, then what a lot of runners will do will come straight over here to Mini Moldorm Cave, and then either head left towards the dam and go back to Agnes Cave, and then isolate Ice Rod Cave, or go to Ice Rod Cave and then just come back for the other checks later. We did see a glove and a moon pearl, so Mini Moldorm Cave being somewhat nice to us today.
It's definitely exciting to find the moon pearl early on. We get the mirror and we're going to have a lot open up.
Well, you say that, but the mirror's no guarantee. We could be sitting here for like an hour and a half looking for that darn thing. Or Swamp could be a pendant, and we just never find it at all.
I'm starting to get partial to just dipping Pendant Swamp anyway.
That's fair. It's great and bails you out, except for when it doesn't. It's definitely one of those dungeons, kind of like Pendant Pod. And then Ninjembro pulled an S&Q, so we are leaving Ice Rod Cave behind on that side. Meanwhile, if the crabs don't get the better of Houston Baba here, we're going to see what's in this.
Got a bottle of a fairy.
Okay. That's an interesting find. It does open up bottle vendor. It also gives us a nice little safety if one of these suckers decides to clothesline us here.
I always get a little nervous about the fairy because sometimes I'll be trying to take a death and forget I have it.
Yeah, that's a good point. The fairy can giveth and the fairy can taketh away. Ninjembro finding the key, so that's helpful. We get to run back here and keep going for a little bit.
Meanwhile, we've got Houston fake flippering.
Yeah, and this is kind of an interesting call. We do have the moon. Oh, wow. Okay. Samaria sitting on the darn Hylia Island. Great. That's wonderful. That's exactly where we wanted to see that. So, yeah, we will be seeing a mirror sooner or later today.
Maybe Hobo will be nice and give us the mirror.
There'd be something really ironic about the mirror being flipper locked when. Yeah, well, okay. Hobo having digging implements and spades, apparently. But yeah, Ninjembro taking a predictable route here. Found the bow, went to the back of Escape, didn't really get a whole lot, so we are headed over towards Eastern. We did find the bow in the back of, or the lamp in the back of Escape, so that's fun. That also technically gives us access to everyone's favorite Dark World access dungeon here in Aga Tower. But we're gonna hope that we find a hammer or some mitts to forego having to do that just yet. All right. Meanwhile, Waterfall Cave not having a whole lot.
Looks like we'll be getting a Zora ledge check as well.
Yeah, and this is going to kind of orphan Zora, which could be a problem, but Zora doesn't frequently have something, so you're probably okay. And if this is a situation where we come back with the mirror, then we can go ahead and check it right after Catfish. Interesting thing to point out here. So far, we have not seen the front of Escape, and the back of Escape had both the small key and the map. So everything in the front is potentially useful.
Save us a slow crawl through the bottom of it at least. And there's our lamp.
Yep, that's that lamp that Ninjembro grabbed a little while ago. So this Eastern is completely in logic, which is not something you normally see. You'll frequently see runners just find the bow and say, well, it's a crystal, let's go do it. But it's actually fully in logic. And it looks like Houston Bob is going to go do the front of escape here. Or at least go do Uncle, which will net him the blue mail.
That mail could end up being nice to have if we end up getting early Dark World access.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I feel like once they grab the mail off of here, they're kind of going to be thinking of the death in Mini Moldorm Cave and thinking, dang it, I should have just come over here first. But it's better to have it at 11 minutes than to not have it at all.
Both our runners finding a full heart.
Yeah, another one of those things you're not going to say no to, especially because we are one of 2 items away from having Dark World access. Or just an Aga Tower climb if either of them is so bold, but I doubt we're going to see that yet. There's enough stuff to check. Although, after Ninjembro is done with Eastern and Houston Baba is done with Escape, we're only really going to have a couple of checks on the mountain, which are actually also in logic, go figure, as we've pulled the mushroom out of the vanilla big key chest in Eastern, and a couple of fetch quests, which I almost forgot, but the mushroom helped me out there, and then Agonis Cave. So we are kind of running low on checks as a combined effort here. Houston Baba doing some quick swapping to the music. That's definitely something that I find myself doing when I'm just kind of walking through relaxing dungeons.
Certainly gives you something to do when you don't have boots this early.
Yeah, just don't have the mirror in your hand and accidentally hit the Y button. That could be painful. All right, some synchronized boss fights here. The Ball and Chain Guard not being an official boss isn't going to give us anything other than that funny little chest that's hiding in the back. As Houston Baba sets up a Death Warp. Oh, yeah, I was afraid of that. And there's the fairy. So this is kind of interesting. If Houston Baba had gone to Dark Cross from the back of Escape, they wouldn't have had to take this Death Warp. But seeing as they didn't, they do. Or this could be an Aga Tower climb, which would be interesting. But no, we're just heading back towards Dark Cross. PSA to all of you speedrunners and otherwise enjoying players of Rando, count your items. Because if I'm not mistaken, this is the map. Meanwhile, Ninjembro taking that mushroom, doing a fancy little fake flipper down south of Link's house, and we're going to see what's over here. Maybe? Nope, just 10 arrows. Not going to save scum that, though. That's kind of interesting. A lot of runners will choose to save scum that so that they can get a fake powder, provided that we can eventually, get that Cane of Samaria that's sitting on the island.
And then maybe banking on finding that powder before they bother with the cane.
Yeah, that's fair. Could also be a situation where they just, don't really feel like doing it. Because if Magic Bat isn't anything important, it doesn't really matter. But I've seen that swing a match, so it's definitely something to keep an eye on. Meanwhile, I think we're going to need a lumberjack check here, so that's going to be some new info for us. And now Ninjembro in the unfortunate situation of having left. Oh, were there flippers? Oh
That
my.
look like flippers, yeah.
Okay, so we have Kana Samaria sitting on Lake Hylia Island, and the flippers required to get there are sitting on Lumberjack Ledge. Can we at least get the boots soon, please, then? You know, I'm blaming you for this. You made a comment about how cross keys was complicated and this one was going to be simpler, and now this seed sitting here going, hold my Samaria.
You would hate to hear where I would like to see boots then.
I mean, there's a lot of place boots could be, honestly. Flippers doesn't lock that much. If you say pet, I'm going to give you like an 8 for cruelty, but only about a 2 for creativity.
Ah, well, I never said I was creative. There's our mitt.
Yep, so the shovel leading to the mitts, which is Dark World access-ish. The problem is that we know where the flippers are, and so that's not going to be a way to get to pod logically. The hammer might still be out there somewhere helpful, as Ninjembro gets the confirmation that yeah, we're going to need those flippers. Because yeah, the funny thought is if you just go look at Lumberjack and you see the flippers, you're like, okay, well there's still a small chance that we could have pendants on swamp and ice, and you know, we just don't have to deal with it. But then you see the Soma Cane and it's like, oh, never mind, forget everything I just said. We gotta do it. But yeah, Houston Baba taking those mitts and doing a quite predictable thing here. Gonna go ahead and jump in here and see what's in Village of Outcast area. Also get our pendant layout. We've got Pod, of course, and Skull Woods. And then 5/6s are Swamp and TR.
It's like Baba's gonna go ahead and clean out the front of Skull Woods as well.
Yeah, I don't dislike this play at all. Especially given that Skull Woods is a pendant, it's like just come back here and check these real quick. If there's a hammer or something really useful in here, you're not gonna regret it. And even if there's not, let's just hope there's nothing in the back and you get to just not have to worry about it.
Would be
Meanwhile,
nice to
Gibdo's,
have that red cane, though.
yeah, Gibdo's being Gibdo's too, which is always fun. Gonna want to be careful here. PSA, Gibdos are stunned by the bloomerang. Use it, please, ladies and gentlemen. It helps.
Zora ripping us off once again.
Yeah, so that's actually something that Houston Bob is not going to have to worry about. Oh, wow. Skullwoods with the goods. How about a sword? And yeah, chat pointing out with Swamp being a crystal, those flippers are hard required because you could technically do a fairy revival, and get around the flippers for getting that Kana Samaria. But with Swamp being a crystal, there's no if and or buts. We need to go get that.
It just becomes a question of how long are we going to put it off.
Well, there's no reason to do it before you get the boots, so I'm not doing Aga Tower without boots. Ninjembro finally coming back around to do South the CAC here, not missing anything. Arrows on our maze race and $20 in the library. You know, I get used to cross keys enough that sometimes someone walks into a door and I'm like, oh wow, that's vanilla.
Yeah, absolutely. It can be somewhat unexpected if you're so used to cross keys. We had a few instances, more than I expected, of vanilla locations in the cross keys runs.
Oh yeah, it's always good for a laugh. It's even funnier when you get a situation where you have like a connector and it pops you out like right next to where it puts you in. It's just like, thanks for wasting my time. All right, so it looks like Ninjembro is not going to be going without that sword, which is nice because Master Sword is much nicer than Fighter Sword for these Dark World dungeons. Well, Thieves Town gave us an item. It's a single arrow, but it gave us an item. And yeah, Ninjembro using the boomerang to go ahead and stun those Gyptos. It's easier just not to mess with them. Speaking of arrows, Thieves Town divulging 10 more. Almost said 5 more. And there's the big key. Did you see the first chest? I did not, so I don't know if Thieves Town's given us 2 items or 3.
It was just our map.
Okay, so we've got 2 items that are outstanding here, and 1 chest that we are definitely not going to be able to get to, so hopefully we'll be able to get all 4 items in here, or barring that, a hammer so we can get all 4 items, or just the 4th item not being useful would be nice as well. Because I feel like this dungeon is one of the worst in terms of like having to leave that big chest behind. And maybe it's just me, but it just feels extra terrible when you walk out of there and you know there's an item just happily sitting there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you don't know what it is, and you really don't want to go back under any circumstances, but it's there.
I've had it bite me more than once and had to make the trudge back to it.
And it's like a 2-minute trudge too, from the front of Thieves Town, which is, you know, about 3 minutes all told, depending on what fast travel items you have and how quickly you can get back there. Well, with that being the compass, the odds are not in our favor.
I believe we have 1 more chest before blind that it could be an item.
Yeah, basically what we need at this point is blind, sell, and blind to both have items and the small key to be locked in that big chest, which can happen. But, you know, odds are not in our favor right now. For all that up, yep, there's the small key, of course. Okay, be careful. I don't think you have another ferret. I was gonna say, for all of this, this game can be cruel. The heart refills right there, blind seller, kind of nice. But on the flip side, that red Zyzak shooting fireballs down the lane at you, not as nice. So we got no magic, no safeties that we can really use because of the no magic, and 1.5 hearts. Let's see if Houston can keep this sucker on script. So far, so good. 3 more hits. Nicely done. Count it.
And our hook
Ooh.
shot.
Well, that puts East Death Mountain in logic. Also, Super Bunny Cave and Hookshot Cave as well. So that's a good, what, 14 items? I don't think we're going up there right away since, we're a mirror or hammer away from being able to do Hera while we're up there, which, being Green Pendant, that's a double-edged sword. But it's definitely something we can start giving side-eye to.
Definitely something worth considering. I've seen Green Pendant end up having progression far more times than I would like.
That seems to be a common thing, doesn't it? Like, it's this one thing, you start playing the game, and you're like, that's one item. Like, how often is this one item gonna come back and get me? More often than you want it to, that's for sure. Alright, dig game being pretty quick, only giving us 20 rupees, but it was 8 or 9 digs, so that's not too bad.
I think we had a 20 dig for 5 rupees the other day, so that's definitely merciful.
That's oof. My favorite is like the 27 plus dig single arrow. Oh, thank you. That's exactly what I wanted. Like, the contents that I dug up while digging 28 times for this stupid thing were worth more than the thing you gave me for doing it. Thanks.
That guy works very hard to put those items in the ground.
Well, we got the other cane from Stumpy. Alright, so the question of the day is Hype Cave going to save us?
I think I'm going to say yes this time.
Okay, what are you looking for? Hammer, mirror?
Let's go for both.
Go for both. Wow. All right, we're making the calls here. Start with a bee in a bottle, quarter a heart. We're just another quarter heart. You could have just skipped that one. 2 bottles and 3 bombs. Okay, so half a heart, 2 bottles, and 3 bombs. Unfortunately, yeah, that's not the hype cave we were looking for. I'll tell you what,
I'll settle
ninjembro
for 2
makes.
bottles.
Yeah, right. I just wish they had something that was useful in them. Like I'd take something better than a bee in air.
Seen the bee bottle be useful once.
Early game, it can be useful in a couple spots, especially if you have a gold bee. It's nice for clearing out mini Moldorm Cave, or for dealing with those crabs if you're on low hearts and you really want to get over to Ice Rod Cave. But at this point, yeah, it's going to have not much use. Unless it's a gold bee and you want some money from the bottle vendor. That's another use for it. And it is time to rock out because our Smiths are Aerosmiths today. I'm so sorry. I do imagine this is going to be a Death Mountain play from Houston Baba, and with the sheer number of checks up there that we have access to, I don't disagree with this at all. This is where to go in terms of just what we have left.
Yeah, at this point, it's practically calling out.
Do you remember where the bow was?
The bow was in the front of dam.
So Houston Baba still hasn't grabbed that, which, as such, they haven't been over to Eastern. I don't remember there being anything useful in Eastern, but we're going to need that bow probably. Depends on where the other one is. It would be incredibly useful either way, but oh, and it ended up being 10 digs for the $20. My bad.
And you may have actually gotten me with the Aerosmiths. I think that might have done me in.
It wouldn't be the first time I finished off a COCOM with a well-placed terrible joke.
I was asking myself for a second why Houston Baba wasn't going for the fast feet, and remembered we do not have the boots yet.
Yeah, we're still looking for those, which it's always it's always like super aggravating when the seed's like, hey look, you're gonna need the boots for this. And hey look, you're gonna need the boots to get this. And you're like, oh, that's nice. The 2 items required are gonna be locked behind my boots. That's kind of cool. Hopefully I'll get those early. And then half an hour later you're still walking around like, so about those boots.
We got Ninja picking up his bottles over in Hype Cave. And there's our hammer.
Yep, I'm here. Alright, so it looks like we are going to get an Ancilla delete here from Ninjembro. Because let's go to pod. There we go, second time's a charm. The amusing thing here is that what Ninjembro is doing is out of logic for him, but based upon the hammer sitting in Paradox Cave, no longer out of logic, so everything's fine. Alright. That's can we just not? Bombos on Floating Island for anybody who missed it.
I'm glad you spotted which one it was. It was so fast for me.
I just expected it was going to be something because of how this seed has been. I'm pretty sure race game and yeah, like half the items that we can look at but can't touch have been useful. So I just kind of figured it was just that's what it was going to be. So this is a huge bit of divergence here. Ninjembro run an independent pod. So if there's nothing in here and the rest of the seed lays itself out nicely, this is a place that Houston Baba just might never ever have to get to. So this could end up being a huge time sink for Ninjembro. Conversely, it's pendant pod. So if there's something here, which the joke is that it's always pendant pod, we'll see how true that is for this particular seed. Then Ninjembro could get quite a bit of a lead, especially because it could be our boots, or a mirror, or a whole host of things. Honestly, we still need a bunch of stuff for go mode. So, Houston Bob before going the bomb jump, gonna just take a quick fall here. It's not a bad idea if you're not super comfy with the bomb jump.
And Ninja not finding much of anything on Bo's side.
Yeah, it's not surprising. With I think the compass in the shooter room, we've only got one more non-key up here potentially. So we're not going to find a whole lot till we get to the back, unfortunately. All right, there's the green pendant on Houston Baba's side. So now we are 2 dungeons to 2. We'll see if that green pendant ends up being useful. And the long walk through Spiral Cave.
This is fairly brutal without boots.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's terrible. It's even worse if you like know how to pump. Was that a 5-key front? I'm pretty sure that was a 5-key and compass front.
That's what it's looking like.
Why? That's rude. So literally nothing in the front here.
Pod has secrets.
I mean, hopefully. What? All right. Oh, good call. Pod does have secrets. Hello, Flute.
Some much-needed fast travel.
Cody just calling it there. Holy cow. You got anything else for me?
Oh. Let's say mirror. Let's be nice to them.
Mirror. Okay. That'd be a heck of a combination.
And nothing in Super Bunny Cave for Houston.
I'm gonna laugh so hard if Mirror shows up on Hookshot Cave. Well, finally we found a big key, so we do have an item sitting on Helmasaur. For obvious reasons, without that hammer, Ninjembro not going back there. Oh!
Oops.
Wow. Okay, let's just have all of the quick travel in Pod. Alright, and that piece of heart not leading to a refill, which was really nice, because that would have been salt-inducing. But yeah, we have the boots. So now we can go get those flippers.
We've got our ice rod hiding over in Hookshot Cave.
I'm glad you saw that. I can't ever see the difference between the fire rod and the ice rod when it pops up. And unfortunately, the commentary, comment of, hey, it's a rod, is not really helpful, because I don't know which one it is.
Or we could always keep it very generic and say, an item.
I got nothing for that. Alright, Spike Cave. $20 on the pyramid ledge, so that's not going to be a big deal. And bombs in Spike Cave. So that ends the mountain climb for Houston Baba. Coming away with not a whole lot. The hammer was nice, but it's about all we got. Meanwhile, Ninjembro grabbing, yeah, pretty much everything that helps you go fast in this game.
That could be substantial depending on when Baba decides to go to Pod.
I'm honestly at this point more concerned about Baba going to go get that bow, because I don't think Baba has a potion right now. So if Baba rolls into Pod, he's gonna grab that compass and be stuck.
Looks like that might be what we have happening too.
Ooh, that's gonna be really unfortunate.
I guess the next question is, when will he go back to the dam?
At this point, I'm not sure he's aware that he skipped it. Okay, realizing you don't have any goos, I think. Yeah, this is super unfortunate for Houston Baba. Ninjembro pulling 20 out of the King's Tomb. We're going to check Bonk Rocks here in a moment. So it looks like he's going to go activate that flute, I would imagine. Oh, you know what? I don't think he's checked Lumberjack yet.
I don't believe he has.
That's a good call. This is about to be really funny. I don't suspect we'll see any happy slashes, but we might. And there's the S&Q from Houston Baba, unfortunately. All right, so I imagine we're going to check this flute, and then I honestly wouldn't be surprised to see ninjembro just go do Agate Tower at this point. We don't really have any dungeons we can full clear on his side that are dungeons we want to full clear. Okay, oh, that feels terrible. Right after the save and quit from Pod, that just feels yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it would definitely be frustrating.
All right, we're going to get a Meyer area check. This is going to tell us what medallion we need. Bonus points if it's Bombos, because that's sitting on Floating Island. I think it's Bombos.
It looked like ether.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. I wasn't sure. Yeah, I think looking at the restream, it did look like ether. So vanilla requirements for Meyer then. And now we're going to get that Sahasrar's Closet Eastern play from Houston Baba. Not going to be anything of importance in here, if I remember correctly. But it's going to be a crystal. It's going to be 6 items total. 7 items with that green pen to turn in, which ended up just being a piece of heart, unfortunately.
We'll see if the old man has anything to do. Just a bit of love.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything up the mountain other than the hammer.
Yeah, just our hammer and ice rod up here.
Yeah, that's right. I don't even consider the ice rod up here being relevant because, you know, you need it for Turtle Rock, and that's up here too, so.
That's true. At least it's not in Turtle Rock. That never
it might as well
good.
be. Yeah, speaking of things that happen far more frequently than they should. As our runners are kind of following each other's footsteps here, Ninjembro grabs a hammer. Yep, there it is. And Houston Baba taking advantage of having the hook shot in here. Give these guys a follow. They're flying through this game that has decided that it's going to put everything where they can see it, but not where they can get it. But we are getting there because with knowledge of the flippers, yeah, we can at least go get those flippers. We're still a mirror away from getting Soma, but it's slowly working out here. But yeah, looking at it, we still need the fire rod. We need ether at the very least, perhaps quake, but ether at the very least. So fire rod, ether, the mirror is somewhere, please and thank you. And that should lead to everything that we need to complete this game. So we're getting there, but there's still quite a bit that's hiding. Looks like Ninjembro is trying to set up a Harapot, and it goes off without a hitch there.
We've got Houston finding their mushroom over in Eastern.
Yeah, that's another thing that's kind of still interesting here. We do not have the powder. We also do not have access to the Samaria cane yet. So, real powder and fake powder still evade us. Ninjembro does not have the mushroom on hand. So it'll be interesting to see if Houston Baba decides to either forego turning in that mushroom immediately, or when he does, elects to save scum it. Moldorn being kind of annoying, but Ninjembro handling it all the same. Us getting the small key here, which I believe leads to a dungeon item. I don't think we left anything behind here.
Nice Armos kill on Houston's side.
Yeah, that was a really nice quick kill.
We see with Ninjam how much easier Spiral Cave is when you have the boots.
Yes, and this is what it's like to move fast. Okay,
like
good.
Houston might be dipping pod again.
Yeah, this is exactly what Houston Baba needs to be doing. This is exactly what needs to be done, because this is pretty much where the rest of our progression is that we've seen thus far, at least. So I remember pretty much at the beginning of this seed, or towards the beginning, you mentioned that Agnes Cave can frequently be put off by our runners. Well, we still haven't seen it, I don't think.
No, we haven't. And we've got Ether on Turtle Rock, too.
Okay. Well, that reduces the medallion requirements down to just ether. We might need bombos for Ice Palace, depending on where that fire rod is sitting today.
Oh, I'm a big fan of fire locking fire.
Of course you are. You know why? Because you're not playing the seed.
Oh, absolutely.
You don't have a key? Turn around! Oh, never mind. I'm an idiot. I keep forgetting you can move that torch. Or that statue, I should say. Meanwhile, Ninjembro gonna grab his ice rod here in just a second. It'll be kind of interesting to see. With one pendant done, does Houston Baba go grab Helmasaur? Because there is an item there, so that is an option. Also, friendly reminder, if you find yourself in a room with green mimics and you don't have a bow, they still do take damage to everything else normally. Swords work, hammers work. I believe even Samaria works. It's just the red ones that are picky. That was an interesting bomb throw there. Not quite sure how that works out. Alright, so Ninjembro has finished the mountain clearing here, and we'll see where we're headed next. It's not going to be to Aga Tower quite yet. Ah, turn it in that green pendant.
I'm definitely curious to see what this could be.
I want to say it's just a piece of heart, because Houston Baba turned it in when he came
I
over.
think you're right.
Not helpful, unfortunately. Yeah, piece of heart. Alright, and here's everyone's favorite Aga Tower climb. Although I don't think Ninjembro's done in front of Escape yet either.
Nope.
Yep, we're going to go do that first.
I don't believe we had anything substantial here either.
Not that I can think of, no. But it's been a little bit, so. Speaking of saving time, it is a lot of fun running through here with the boots.
Oh, definitely. This is a real slog otherwise. Who's getting his flute?
Yep, movement item 1 of 2. So now the question, is Houston Baba going to complete this dungeon?
I am curious to see that, because there is one item left on Helmasaur, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Also, the kind of interesting thing here is that the flippers don't really unlock anything. We still can't do anything in ice because we don't have Bombos that's sitting on floating island or the fire rod that's somewhere. But no, the answer is no. And we can't do anything in swamp without the mirror. So I don't know. That may be the answer. We still have a handful of things left to do. Don't get me wrong, but it's not a whole lot. Oh, including that big chest of Thieves' Town.
King's Tomb not delivering today, unfortunately.
Yeah, King's Tomb and Bonk Rocks were both better left alone. Yeah, so we have Helma. We have the one item left in Thieves' Town. We have a mirrorless purple chest. We also have hammer pegs. Worth noting. We have a fake powder for Houston Baba if we can just get our hands on the cane, but that's not something we can do quite yet. But no, I don't think we have anything left that's good at the very least.
That purple chest could be hard to route in because they've already done dig spots and they still don't have that mirror.
Yeah, but with hammer pegs still needing to be done, it's not terrible, especially with boots. You can just dash through hammer pegs, pick up the chest, S and Q, flute over to 7 and go turn it in. So that's not the worst. Of course, you'd love to do it after you have the mirror, because then you can route in Cave 45, and if you've got the book, you can route in Bombo's Tablet too. But at this point, I think we're past the point of routing well. I think at this point, we're just trying to route to survive. Oh yeah, and Agnes Cave. Good
Finally
call.
getting that check in. And nothing on Desert Ledge, unfortunately.
So, checks like Agnes Cave are always really interesting in terms of metagaming. Because generally, when you're running a game, you can kind of figure, okay, I may have grabbed this before my opponent or after my opponent. But when there's something sitting here in Agnes Cave and it's not for like Dark World access early on, I'm always confused as to how to feel. Like, did my opponent come in here half an hour before I did, or are they going to come in here half an hour after I did? On that note, Aga waits for us 0 through 15. How many blue balls are we going to get today?
I'm going to say 3.
That's not bad. I'm going to say that we're going to be friendly here and go with a solid 8. It was a joke. Please let it be a joke.
Your dream may be real.
Oh no.
Do you see what you've done?
I didn't do nothing! You can't prove it! Oh wait, yeah you can. Never mind. Purge the tapes! Okay, good. That we're fine. We're still on 3. It's good. It's fine. Alright. At this point, 6 is going to be our worst case scenario, so we're okay. The 8 did not come to pass.
It really had me worried, not gonna lie.
Oh, never mind. I'm a dingus. Yeah, 3, so you were right. It just, it was the fun 3. It was the fun 3. I could pull in a bit of a gotcha there. And now from this point forward, or I should say, from the point at which our runners get the mirror forward, we get to play a wonderful game going, how many times do they S and Q and end up on top of Ganon's tower, or on top of like the pyramid, and didn't mean to.
Oh yes, that's a fun mechanic. I always forget about that too. I've usually got mirror early on when I run seeds. I haven't been so unlucky.
Alright, so with flippers in hand or on foot, as the case may be, I always wonder how that works. Like, do you have a boot on one foot and a flipper on the other?
It would about have to be, wouldn't it?
I mean, like, the really weird thing is that if you had the flippers and you're dashing through the ground, like, wouldn't it just sound like... And they don't have that sound effect, so I can only assume that Link is, like, really fast with footwear changes. Oh, Ninjembro making the Thieves Town play.
This could pay out for him.
I mean, it's like half the checks we have left at this point with this one and then hammer pegs and purple chests. It's about half of what we have left, so it's got to be here somewhere. Either that or it's Helmasaur and ugh.
A chat pointing out you have pretty much decided that Link is a platypus.
Oh, that one got me. I was not anticipating that. Hey, if Link were a platypus, we wouldn't need the flippers, though.
Platypus in training.
Platypus in training. I don't even know what to do with that.
Well, let's see if his big chest was worth coming back for. And there's our fire rod.
On a list of items,
Yeah, I
Oh,
can't say that's what I expected to be there.
quick, pull the bed! Goodness gracious, what is this seed? Was I don't remember. Did we get both items out of Skullwood, or did we just get one?
I think it was just one. I'm not certain though.
I want to say it was just the sword, um, but I might very well be wrong. And then, yeah, of course, everyone's favorite Ice Palace opens up finally with that wonderful fire source.
Hammer Peg's just having some arrows today.
Oh yeah, and then Jembro never turned in the smith, so can't even do purple chest yet.
Maybe leaving it behind since we still don't have the mirror.
Yeah, that's possible. That's possible. Could just turn in the smith and then go right in Ice Palace. I wouldn't be surprised though with the mitts and the boots and the flute to just go ahead and knock it out. Especially because we are low on remaining items. And if you pull like a mirror out of here, that would be insane. Because then you just get to, well, one, do Ice Palace the not terrible way. And two, you'd be able to go get your Selma Cane to do Ice Palace in not terrible way. So
Trying to recall if ninjembro also did Dig Spot.
yeah, Dig Spot was just was the mitts. So yeah, both runners have done that.
That's right. Okay.
And yeah, we are foregoing the purple chest. So you can put purple chest in the corner along with I believe no items in the back of Skullwood's chat saying that we found both. Um, so yeah, purple chest is on its own for now.
Been a while since I've
Meanwhile, this
seen
is
Ice Palace without the red cane. Won't be seeing Icebreaker.
yeah. Instead, we get to do everyone's favorite nearly obsolete bomb jump. There, I said it. Don't at me. But I do imagine we're going to get a purple chest grab here. Unfortunately, that means that Houston Baba will not be grabbing the. Oh, there's some debate. Oh, wait. No? Oh, okay. He was thinking about that item in Thieves Town. Um, what he could have done is walked the chest over to Thieves Town and then um, grabbed the fire rod and come back and then just S and Q'd. But deciding to just do purple chest. So we'll see if there's anything here. Yep, no, that's not helpful.
Would have really been in his favor if that had been progression as well.
Yeah, but as it's not, I believe we're actually heading into thieves. Maybe not. Oh, we're gonna go get those slippers. All right, that makes sense. And Jembro, meanwhile, got the Ice Palace bomb jump with no issue, and is trying to find. Well, there's a key. So, yep, gonna just turn around and go to the right-hand side now. That makes sense. Most runners just dive the north hole there to go ahead and get a free key, but as the case may be, that worked out. Everything's fine. And this is going to be that Zora check that Houston Baba left behind. Um, I recall it being a ripoff, as Ninjembro finds a male almost where it's supposed to be. But I don't recall what it was. Bombs?
I do believe it was just bombs, yeah. Certainly not worth the money.
Well, we have 1250, so I think it's going to be fine in terms of Oh, okay. That's a terrible add book and mirror are two of the worst items to find late game in my opinion because they just turn into like these fetch questy just bleh.
Yeah, this could turn out not being very fun at all, having that come up.
Yep, although it does put desert in logic, since we still don't have that mirror. Oh, this is interesting. Houston Baba is going to go take out Helmasaur. I think. I can't think of anything else that's up here. Yep, Helmasaur it is. With a Murderdactyl in tow. It's like Meyer, but more fun. All right, Ninjembro is going to be thankful for red mail because with 4 hearts, this is close, but we're good.
Yeah, Cold Stare can get messy pretty quickly if it gets off the rails.
All right, so that's another crystal for Ninjembro. Didn't see anything terribly useful in there other than maybe the book, but you know, that's another crystal done. Yeah, chat pointing out something really useful to know. If you beat Cold Stare and there's a small key to Ice Palace on Cold Stare, the dungeon is Samaria locked. So, not that that really matters right now because it's not one of our 5/6s. But if it were and we were looking for the mirror, then we'd know it's not up here. Sorry. As for right now, we do technically know it's not in GT because of that, but since Swamp was a crystal anyways, we didn't really have to worry about that. We're going to need it regardless. And everyone's favorite pet check. Nope.
Ed is dead.
Alright, so it's time to take that book to the most dense set of items here. It also does technically unlock Ether Tablet for us, but nobody wants to climb the mountain for one item, especially without the mirror, so you're going right and then climbing the mountain, then coming back left. That's just terrible. So let's hope there's something in here for us. Worst case scenario, it's another crystal. Meanwhile, this could be a huge swing in the other direction. If Helmasaur has something useful, like, I don't know, the mirror, that could be, yeah. That could be what Houston needs to make this a match. Oof. That's
No
unfortunate.
such luck.
Yeah, and with us knowing that Pet is dead, that ends up being a not helpful clear. So I imagine that Baba is going to be drawn towards that big chest in Thieves Town eventually. We'll see if he goes there now. Not quite yet. Gonna turn in that mushroom. We'll see if this ends up being a save scum, though. Yep, 10 arrows there, and there's the save scum. So Houston Baba does still have the mushroom on hand. If Samaria does not end up being our go mode, we could have a situation where that comes in handy, depending on where the powder's sitting. Alright, so my guess is that Houston Baba is going to be heading into Thieves Sound for that last item over here now. And ninjembro is flying through the back of desert. With Fire Rod in hand, this should be a relatively quick fight. Keeping in mind right now he has 6 shots with the Fire Rod, and without any double hits, it takes 6 shots to get rid of Landmo. So you either got to be perfect, got to be lucky, or got to use that sword. Or the hammer, if you prefer. Alright, ninjembro not being perfect nor lucky, so we're going to be doing a couple spins here. And there it is. Alright, so nothing in desert. We are once again running low on items. It's starting to look like Ether Tablet's going to be our progression. What are your thoughts on that one?
That's not something I would want to see, but yeah, we're running out of places.
Yeah, looks like we're finally going to get that Agana's Cave check here. Unfortunately, nothing here, so the amount of locations left just continues to dwindle.
We really need to find this mirror.
I mean, the great thing is that our progression might not even be the mirror. Like, we could literally pull Ether Tablet out and have our our fun little run into Mire. Just thought. Vanilla Ether Tablet. Oh man, I just realized that would be vanilla. Oh, that's bad. And yeah, ninjembro are making the right call, because I'm pretty sure that all they have left is this and Helmasaur, which we know is a piece of art or $20 or something. Not helpful either way. So yeah, we have a mirror and an ether that we need to find. And unless I'm mistaken, Ether Tablet's going to hand us one of those. It could also hand us the powder. That would give us access to one more location. But outside of that, I think those are our options upcoming here. Any guesses?
Mirror.
Oh, so you're going to be nice. That's fair, I guess.
And there we go.
All right, so now it's an ether hunt. Oh, actually, we couldn't have gone into Mire because we didn't have ether. Ignore the idiot in the booth, ladies and gentlemen.
Might be getting our swamp play from ninjembro.
I imagine we're probably going to go get that Samaria cane first.
Oh, you're right. It's hanging out on the rock, just waiting for them.
Yep.
At this point, I would be enticed to at least check that first chest in swamp, though.
No, I mean, you got to clear it anyways, so let's just go ahead and grab this cane. It makes Diver Down easier if you're not a fan of Bomb Diver Down. And then let's just head back and do Swamp.
I was misreading our tracker and thought that one was our pendant. See, it's the crystal.
Yeah, it is sandwiched by pendants, but it is not the pendant. I think that one's good. Okay, with half a heart left, Houston Baba, I don't know if you're safe there. Okay, good. And yeah, I'm gonna have to wait for another. There we go. Good hook shot across. All right. All right, so Houston Baba gonna want to be careful here. Unfortunately, we are powderless. This is one of those dungeons that, if you've got the powder, it's generally pretty nice. Half magic in the first chest here, so that's nice to find in Swamp. Meanwhile, we're getting a check of iced tea, which I believe would have the big key. So did Ninjembro leave an item in Ice Palace?
I'm trying to remember now. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I can't count the items in Ice Palace on the best of days.
The chat suggesting he may have skipped big chest, and I don't remember him checking that one.
Yeah, he didn't check big chest, but I don't think that Houston Baba has the big key yet. So I thought that Ninjembro just grabbed all three items, but with Houston Baba kind of routing this differently, I'm now starting to wonder if maybe I skipped something. Oof. Just getting really unlucky with the bonks and pushes. And...
Yeah, it's not a fun room on the best of days.
Alright, so with Ninjembro just needing one item here for go mode, it makes sense to go ahead and do the back first. Hope that you run across the illustrious and elusive ether. And there it is.
Called it.
Well, you know, we didn't have much left. It wasn't really much of a call. So yeah, 1 hour, 18 and a half minutes approximately, Ninjembro has reached go mode, and he is going to get to finish off the rest of the dungeon, and then go mode Meyer, as useful as that might be, depending on where the big key is, and then go mode Turtle Rock. See previous comment about Meyer.
I'll be nice and hope for a Godmire.
I mean, you can be as nice as you want. It's not up to you, unfortunately. Nice spin from Houston Baba. That's always a wonderful spin trick to see. Oh man, Master Sword Argus is so annoying unless you're one of the, I feel like, 30 people who's just really, really, really good at doing the poke strats for it. But Ninjembro's still taking him down without too much difficulty. That is crystal number 5 only, because this seed has just been stringing us along. Yeah, Houston Baba having to pull that statue a little. Yeah, that works too. Just get it out of the way there. Good call.
Sometimes those things will just not cooperate.
Alright, so even with red mail, Houston Bob are going to want to be careful here. These puffs still do 2 hearts of damage, so we are sitting... Okay, now... Yeah, okay, be careful, please. I don't think we have a fairy or anything left, so... So yeah, hold your breath, ladies and gentlemen. Hold your breath. Bird toss on Ninjembro's side. And we are off and racing into mire. And nicely done. Whew, took maybe half a year off my life there, but the boss is done. And that's another crystal for Houston Baba.
Yeah, no, definitely biting my nails on that one.
Alright, well, it's not the mire we were hoping for. So let's see if it at least has the common courtesy to give us silvers or a sword upgrade here. Alright, first two chests out of the way, no big key. Now we start just running through stuff and hoping we can find what we need. Big key, please.
Ah, just a compass.
It might just be me, but when I have the fire rod in rooms like that, I feel the need to like make a choom choom noise as I shoot it. Is that just me, or do you have similar?
Oh no, the urge is real.
Like it's hard just to like not do it when Ninjembro is running through, just choom 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 choom.
Yeah, absolutely.
Foregoing the big chest or the cutscene chest for now, so hopefully that's not going to bite him. Oh, yep. Never mind. Turn around. Thanks, Meyer. I guess that's why it's called Misery Meyer and not, hey, I got your back, Meyer.
Absolutely. If it's not a God Mire, you're basically guaranteed to have to put up with that cutscene chest.
And the only time it's a God Meyer is when you need something. You walk in there like, hey man, I really need a bow. And Meyer's like, oh, did you mean you really needed a big key? No, that's not what I said.
Sorry, best I can do is big key and your item, cutscene chest.
Alright, Houston Bob has made quick work of the front of desert, headed to the back now. You know, and you'd think with the fact that we've pretty much cleared this entire game, the seed could have been friendlier than two swords. Just throwing that out there. Or like, you know, silvers at least.
We can still hold out hope for silver somewhere in GT if they come across them before we get the big key.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, they could also be sitting in TR. So, I also believe we still have one more item that's either on the big chest or on Vinny. So there's a possibility there too. And in the last minute and a half of play, we've had 30 seconds of cutscene on both sides, it feels like.
It really does seem that way.
I mean, I know the Mire one is 17 seconds. I think that the Desert Palace one's 17 seconds as well. It's not fun. Yep, Ninjembro using that half magic and just going to swing away here. Best way to get rid of these eyeballs without having too much concern at the very least. And somewhere between 6 and 8 arrows to the big eyeball, depending on how many slashes you get in beforehand, and we have dueling cutscenes. cutscenes for crystal pickups. Nicely done on both of our side. And yeah, now that it's just about the only darn thing left in the game that Houston Baba has not picked up, let's go get that mirror on Ether Tablet. You cannot do it that way, though, unfortunately. You're going to have to go the long way. I'm not going crazy, am I?
No, I'm not sure what's happening.
That's a mood. Like, I feel that. I feel that so hard.
Oh, man.
Like, who doesn't have mirror at an hour and 26 minutes in on an open seed? Like, that's one of those things that, like, we call it muscle memory for, certain enemizer seeds or cross key seeds or something like that, where you have something where you're not used to, and because you played either so much RNG or so much rando, you just get used to stuff. But at an hour and 26 minutes in, just not having the mirror, you don't even think about it. You're just like, well, I've got the mirror, just go to Bombo's tablet. And that, of course, means climb your butt up the left-hand side and use the mirror. But no, we don't have it.
Yeah, it's definitely got a sting.
Meanwhile, Ninjembro is about to head into Turtle Rock. Wouldn't say no to a Tempered Sword in here, just to make Trinex not... Oh, wow.
This dead rock.
No.
Oh, my
He didn't
goodness.
want to do that. Nice little despawn trick. And hello, mirror. You know, it'd be really fun if you could in the turtle rock rooms, with the platforms like that, use the boots to make them go faster. Just a thought.
That would be awesome.
That would also probably be terrifying, but yeah, that'd be fun, I think. All right, with chat bringing up that pun again, I've got to be honest here. I actually stole that from Udai Monistic. For those of you who are unfamiliar with him, what are you doing? The man's a great comm, and for those of you who know him well, you're probably not surprised. All right, so with the big key not being vanilla in Turtle Rock, I'm pretty sure we're just going to see a key steal here and then a skip of as many chests as we can physically get in TR. We might even get lucky and not have to do Laser Bridge, but it's relatively unlikely at this point. Oh no, actually, we're going to have to do Laser Bridge either way. Well, maybe we'll just have to do one chest in Laser Bridge. There is also, and I hate pointing this out, but I feel like I have to as a commentator, there's also a roughly 2% chance that the remaining two big keys in TR are sitting in the chest we just passed and in the big chest that ninjembro is probably going to pass as well. If that's the case, then we have to turn around. Super unlikely. I don't think I've ever actually seen it, at least not in a situation where I was go moding TR or watching someone else go mode TR, but it is on the table.
If there's a seed for it, it would be this one. Getting a sword.
Yeah, and that's definitely not a sword you're saying no to. Not to mention, it's just super nice to have tempered in general. It's really nice to have tempered for Trinex. We do have half magic, so even if you're not a fan of hammer strats, you could pretty easily squeeze out a Master Sword, just a Master Sword Trinex with half magic. But you know, it's nice to have the red swingy. And there's the key. We're good. Houston Baba making the same play to go to the back of Swamp first, which is going to end up being a good call as our Ether Medallion is sitting there. That'll be go mode for him as well. Unfortunately, it does mean that our Silvers could be sitting in left side Swamp. We won't know until Ganon tells us.
And a good kill on Trinex there for Ninja.
Yep. So, speaking of games we like to play, we have another one. 22 locations in the basement of GT. And unfortunately, this is not Key Sanity. So, one of those has the GT Big Key. Get your guests in chat, 1 through 22. Which godforsaken location is our GT Big Key in? Cody, do you have a preference?
Well, you know I gotta say 22, but if I was gonna make an actual guess, let's say 4.
All right, so taking the 22 and just individually adding the numbers. I like it. I am keeping that 22 in mind, though. If it ends up being Tile Room, I'm blaming you, and I'm blaming you loudly and consistently. Like, I'm telling everybody.
Okay with that.
All right, fair enough. Somebody grab the shovel. Nice puff kill here for Houston Baba. That last puff always seems to end up being on the wrong side. I'm sure there's a strat to avoid it, but I have that problem every time. All right, no keys in Hope Rooms. Let's go left. Since my blue balls guess didn't come out being truthful with 8, I'm gonna stick with 8. So. That was 3 being butter, so we've gotten 2 swords in the last 5 minutes. All right, next chest, anyone? And ninjembro using the ether strats. Not a bad call. Those stealthos are annoying, and ether takes them all out pretty quickly.
Yeah, definitely faster than trying to track them down.
And my check was incorrect, so we are just going to continue going here.
At least we won't get lost.
Oh, I thought that was our midnight snack for later. All right, check number 9 coming up here. All right, well, there's the other medallion. That was a really clean Meyer room from Baba. I'm sorry. I'm calling that a comm curse. I'm sorry. I mentioned your execution, then you bonked immediately.
There's our powder. Oh, silvers.
Huh. So all the good weaponry pretty much just locked in GT. Or, well, I guess Tempered Sword was technically on Laser Bridge. Or Crystal Roller Room. It still feels like GT.
We've just got Ganon trying a new strategy this time.
Yeah, low percent anyone. All right, the infamous Bob's chest upcoming here. And now time for the musical. Armos on ice.
Good getting those silvers for this fight, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Cody.
Hey, bottle percent is alive now.
Cody. There are 5 checks left, and one of them's tile room. Unfortunately, Houston Baba making the same call to skip the cutscene chest. That is unfortunately where our big key is for Meyer. But the real story of the hour, Maiko Com may have cursed ninjembro into having a tile room GT big key. Stay tuned. Ah, never mind. You got away with it.
This time.
Whew!
Not gonna lie, I was getting a little nervous there.
As soon as I use that tone of voice, you just got real quiet. I'm like, oh, he's feeling it. He's feeling it. Because I'd have thrown you under the bus so hard.
Oh yeah. Hey, here's your interview. Hey, by the way, my co-com, he's the reason.
Can you believe that Cody put the GT big key in the tile room? Like, can you? That just be in the. That would have been me. You'd just been like, come on, man.
Hey man, I had some extra money, paid off the bot. I mean,
oh man, if you could pay off the bot, I might actually get a good seed every now and again.
if you like your progression always being on ped, maybe.
As long as I know it's on bed, that's fine. But yeah, for those of you who were keeping count at home, that was actually chest number 18. And let's see. Ogre Magi. I believe that's how you pronounce your name. GG's, you were closest at 17. I'm not quite sure what you get, but you can go over to the randomizer website and roll a rando if you want. Although, if you've been watching this entire race, maybe you don't roll a rando. You know, they're not all this mean. I honestly really hope we get the Triforce text that says, "I promise the next seed will be better."
That would just be icing at this point.
Or I guess, did you like that bow placement? Would be salty for Houston Baba, but I can't think of any other ones that would be appropriate. I love these two Wizrobe rooms. They are relatively easy to get down, and they feel so good. Like, it's one of those rooms that, you know, every game has a set of, you don't have a whole. Oh no! Houston Baba pulling the misery mirror. That is unfortunate.
Oh man.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Quick swap is really, really, really nice until it's not. Alright, Moldorm 2 on Ninjembro's side here. With Gold Sword, it's not too much to speak of unless you get really unlucky with placement.
Oh yeah. Hi Moldorm. Bye Moldorm.
Essentially, yeah. Houston Baba's going to be coming into this with relatively low health, though, so going to want to be careful. It's still not a fun fight. I probably would have picked up the magic just for the sake of being able to use the cape if needed. But it's difficult with the seed being what it is and feeling like you last location to everything, because I'm pretty sure everyone just last locations everything on a seed like this. It's really hard to not let that get to you.
Yeah, definitely, it'd be like a tough choice to just not just rush back in.
Oh, and he doesn't have bombs. And I don't think there are any around either. My NMG knowledge is not spectacular, but I don't believe we have any bombs in the area. I don't think there are bombs underneath any of these. I think they're all empty.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's not.
Yeah, that's super unfortunate. Meanwhile, ninjembro made pretty quick work of Aga 2, dropping into the pig shortly. I am your father's cousin's nephew's former roommate. What does that make us, you ask? And for those of you trying to keep track at home, the answer is obviously mortal enemies.
I don't think I've gotten that one before.
I think my favorite one to get on a race that I'm commentating is when he asks what kind of burrito you'd be. Because then I like leading off with that, and the runners are always really confused because they don't. Like, as a runner, you're not sitting here looking at the text box. You're trying to will the pig to die slightly faster so you could win the stinking race. And yeah, the hunt for bombs for Houston Baba is underway, and unfortunately, I can't help him because I know there's bombs in Meyer, but I'm not sure where. Maybe the fish room, I think, actually has some bombs, but I'm honestly not positive. But with that being done, yeah, butter sword, silvers, Ganon does not take long, like at all. Get your GGs in chat for ninjembro. ninjembro finishing in first place with an official race time.gg time of 1 hour, 43 minutes, and 11 seconds. And Houston Baba, upon seeing that, has forfeited from the race. So yeah, get your GGs in chat. That was that was a seed. All right, so ninjembro keeping the undefeated season alive for bottles on empty. They are now sitting at 11-0. And we are joined in the booth by our winner today, ninjembro. GG, my friend.
GG.
That seed was a seed. Yeah.
That seed, yeah, it was definitely a seed.
That seed's a seed you need to save, and don't lie to me, we all have that one person who plays this stinking game who you want to save that seed for and give it to him later.
Yeah, this is a send to your enemies kind of seed for sure.
Oh, see, I just sent it to my league teammate.
My league teammates were cheering me on in chat apparently, so they already know how terrible this was.
Well, that's no big deal. You've got time. The links don't go away. Just save it a couple months.
They're like, oh yeah, check out this seed I just played. It's insane.
That's what you hit him with. Man, I just got my first sub hour 20. Y'all need to look at this one.
Yeah, that was like normally like I'm used to sequence breaking. I'm not used to juggling that many pieces of knowledge in the back of my head until I get back in logic. Like, this seed had what felt like an insane amount of things, but part of it was because my brain just stopped working halfway through, and things that I thought I needed to keep track of, I actually didn't. I was mentioning in the post-race text chat that for some reason, when I found the hook shot on Blind, and there was still an item in Thieves Town, I was like, ah, yes, this means that the hook shot is locked behind the hammer. I don't know why I thought that, but like, I was planning my route based on that. So when I found hammer on East Death Mountain, my brain like shut down for a minute while I tried to figure out what happened.
Right, because that wouldn't make any sense at all, because you found the hook shot that was supposedly hammer locked, but the only other way to get there is with the hammer in the mirror, and you didn't see the mirror for another 45 minutes, it seems like.
Right. And even then, it's like, well, maybe that. At first, I was like, that must mean that the mirror is somewhere in logic. I was like, well, no, if I have the mirror, then I would still need the hammer to get over here. And then I was just like, well, you know what? My brain now works. We know that an item in the big chest does not mean, it means the exact opposite of what I thought, and then we went on business as usual.
Yeah, as it turned out, that item that was hammer locked that you were thinking about ended up not being the hook shot. It was the fire rod instead.
Yeah, and that fire rod was in like 9 out of 10 seeds that have an item in Thieves Town Big Chest when you don't have the hammer the first time you go in. Like, I lose a race like that because I'm one of the people, like, if I can do Thieves Town and it's a crystal, I don't care if I don't have the hammer. I'm doing it. Because half the time you're going to get 4 items anyway. Sure, one of them might end up being hammer locked, but it's not that big of a deal. And you just, I just finish it. But every once in a while you get that seed where there is an item there and it's your progression, and I usually just am going to lose those. It just so happened that that fire rod basically locked the rest of the seed. So by the time I went and got it, there were so few checks left that I was like, it really makes sense in my mind to just check this on my way to doing like the Smith sequence. So I did.
Right, because at that point, all you really had left, I want to say, was like Helmasaur.
Yeah, Helmasaur, the Smith sequence, including hammer pegs, and the Thieves Town Big Chest. So, you have 5 possible locations for your progression. And there might be more than one progression piece there. But I was like, there's not a super small chance that this is going to be it. So, like, either I check it now and I lose a couple minutes getting nothing, and then I go do the other checks, or I go do those other checks first, and if it happens to be in Thieves Big, oh well. Like, it was kind of a blocking play in a sense, because I figured most people would probably last location the fire rod, and I felt kind of ahead at that point anyway, because splash deleting over to pod and finding the items that I did there, I was like, I think I had these boots for quite a bit longer than my opponent, allowing me to just gain.
And that was a good call on your part. You're absolutely correct. You had the flute and the boots for quite a bit longer than Houston Baba did. So yeah.
Like, I felt okay making more of those just like plays that in some instances would seem like, well, why would you do this over that? It just felt like a more defensive play. So I was like, why not? I almost didn't check Lumberjack. And I was like, well, I should probably check it on the way to activating my flute just in case. And then I was like, oh, cool. So all this stuff I'm doing out of logic, and I thought that I avoided Aga, I have to do Aga anyway.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. Because I feel like as a commentator, if you're sitting here watching it and you're keeping like an eye on the logic, you can almost see the gears turning. Even if you don't sit there and stare at the flippers on Lumberjack Ledge, like you turn around and I can just imagine you sitting there going, okay, so Samaria is sitting on Hylia Island, and the flippers are on Lumberjack. Okay. What?
And like the other thing is like with the gear that I had before finding the mitts, given what was left to check, like I'm one of those weird players who, depending on the gear that I have at that time, I don't think I would have done it in this seed because I already had a glove, but like had I, like, for example, gone and did Death Mountain checks, like the 2 checks that were available, and found like the hook shot, knowing that the hook shot would have then given me like full Dark World access through Aga, I would have just like skipped Agina. Like there were just so many things going through my mind in the seed, like before getting my Dark World access, that like the Dark World access was just like, oh, all these mental gymnastics I just did were for nothing, only to find out that I still had to do a bunch of mental gymnastics at seed anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one thing I've been noticing, is that with these open seeds, it's now the second one I've come for this week, and both of them were just a disaster, because the other one I commentated had the Moon Pearl in the library, and you're like, okay, cool. So we're gonna get the boots early, and we're gonna get Dark World deck. Well, it turns out it was like a 7-item chain, and Moon Pearl was like 2 items or 3 items away from go mode. It was ridiculous. Like, it was just absurd. And it's kind of similar to the setup here, because you're looking at like, okay, there's my flippers, there's my Soma Cane, okay, fine. And you still end up having to chase down everything, including the mirror sitting on Ether Tablet, which is probably literally the worst case scenario, other than Helmasaur. Helmasaur would have been terrible for you.
Oh yeah.
Just because you didn't have the hammer when you went in there.
Right. And I don't remember what all checks were left available when I found that mirror, but I don't think it was a lot. And I was like, I'm just going to go do Ether, because like I found that book in Ice Palace and it led to absolutely nothing in Desert.
I'm pretty sure you legitimately just had that in Helma. I might be wrong, but I think that's all you had left.
It would have had to have been Purple Chest also, because looking at my tracker right now, like I never checked that off. So yeah, that sounds about right. So I was like, Ether Tablet seemed like the best play of those 3 logically, and like none of those 3 checks are particularly fast to do at that point in the seed without mirror and whatnot. So I'm like, well, let's do the one that's like furthest down logic.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a good call, and it ended up being correct. So you took a 1 and 3 and ended up pulling it out. So it worked out for you. So you managed to keep the undefeated season alive. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that or not.
Oh, we're on the record as saying like we're looking for that 14-0. I mean, it's early in the season, you joke about it, and then you get further into the season and you're like, oh man, like it's possible. Like we definitely have some of our toughest opponents in these last couple weeks, and do I think that we can actually go 14-0? Like, yes. Do I think we will? I think week 7 is just such a variable mode.
Yeah, Animizer makes everything a roll of the dice, honestly.
Yeah. So I'm I'm curious to see if we can do it. If we don't, it's whatever. But it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, fair enough. It'd be cool to watch. Do you
At the
know
very
when?
at the very least, we already have our playoff spot locked in. So
Yeah, that's the important part. You guys are going to the playoffs. You're good to go. I'm trying to see if you guys have your second race scheduled for the week. I don't see it right now, but I might be missing it.
I think we have it Saturday afternoon.
All right, let me double check that.
I know Maniacal was running it, and even though he's like an hour behind me, it's almost as if he lives in like a time zone like 7 hours ahead of me. So I'm going to assume he's sometime in the afternoon, but if it's not sometime in the afternoon, it's probably like 3 a.m.
No,
There's only two options.
Your first call was correct. It's on Saturday at 4:10 Eastern. So
okay, so that'll be good. I'm excited to see that one.
alrighty, cool. So did you have anything you wanted to say to finish us up before we head out for the day? Any thoughts on the seed or anything else?
No, I don't think so. Other than thanks to the crew for putting the restream together. Definitely give them all a follow. Being able to have these races on restream for the people that like watching rando is always a good thing. And yeah, I think I'm gonna duck out of here. I have to go make some dinner.
That sounds like a good idea. Can you leave me some leftovers? I'm kind of hungry myself.
I can do my best. And see you all later.
Yeah, we appreciate having you. Have a good one, man. GG's. Alrighty, so that is it for that. If you guys have not had enough rando for the night, then I do have some good news for you. Over on the ALTTPR League 2, we have a race that should be about an hour in right now. Zero Nix versus Splits Happen. I'm not sure if that person is a gymnast person or a bowling person. Either way, splits do very much happen. We also have 2 matches on later tonight for Open League starting at 9 o'clock, one on the ALTTPR League and one on the ALTTPR League 2. Obviously, we have a whole host of races throughout the weekend as Friday hits and the rest of the weekend, so keep an eye out for that. Invitational League, let's see. Did I open up 2 open leagues? I did, because I'm a numpty. Invitational League, I do believe we have some other stuff here as I load this up. Yeah, we have one starting, actually, should be starting right about now on Speed Gaming 5. And then we also have another one starting an hour from now on Speed Gaming 3. So, go watch some rando if you haven't had enough, because we have a bunch more on the plate tonight, and then obviously a bunch more following throughout the weekend. That being said, feel free to give a follow to our runners. They did great. Shout out to Tal for doing the tracking and the streaming for us. That was a spectacular set of multitasking. I can't do either of them, so GG's for doing both. And shout out to my co-com today. This was his first time on commentary. So GG's Cody, you did great. It was a blast. Anyways, I'm pretty sure that's all I've got. Give these channels a follow if you want to see some more racing. And for Hammer Bro, I am heading out. And Cody, I'll let you have the last word, my man.
Hey, I appreciate it, and thanks for running comms with me. It was a good race tonight. A very interesting seat for sure. I think that's pretty much all I've got to say. Definitely give our runners a follow. And just everyone have a good night.